Hi guys, welcome to Shine with Njoki Kamanja Kethi. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much because you're in the right channel. So I'd really like to ask you a question. When you hear the name conflict, some people just sense danger. But do you know sometimes conflict can just be a good thing to bring a beautiful thing? Anyway, I don't want to spoil the juice. Let's get into the video as we connect with our counselor, where we will be talking about conflict management in relationships. Hi.
Hi Njoki.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Baridi imekufinya.
Uone vile nimejihami.
You know me, I'm pretending to be in my 20s.
Your blood is still hot. Enjoy it while it lasts.
You are good?
I'm good.
I want you to say hi to your people. They really enjoyed that one when we talked about oral sex, sex toys.
Kule unanipelekanga Njoki. Yeah.
One person told me, kama anapenda hiyo topic, nani hapendi? Si Mungu hata yeye anapenda.
Kabisa.
Kabisa.
It is his idea and it is a good idea.
Yes.
Yeah, so hi guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for keeping the channel alive. Continue subscribing and let more people get this information. Thank you so much for staying with us.
So, Triza.
Yes.
When you hear about conflict, most people, they always see danger. And they're always thinking, kumeharibika. Because even for me, knowing that there will be conflict tomorrow, maybe I will not subscribe to that day. So I want you to tell us, is conflict a good thing?
If a conflict is a good thing, it is a good thing if it is handled well. Because it helps a relationship to grow. You grow to the next level.
Yeah.
Conflicts, you know, they reveal what your boundaries are.
Yeah.
A conflict makes the other person know, oh, this thing, these people don't appreciate. A conflict also helps in a relationship, maybe even in a family relationship, for you people to develop your own unique culture. Like, you know, maybe we talk about why they happen. They happen because of unmet expectations. Yeah. And you know, a conflict really is a disagreement.
Yeah.
It's a disagreement. We are not agreeing concerning this matter. Because relationships are made up of people with different personalities, different backgrounds, different viewpoints, different cultures. So when these two people come and sit together, for your relationship to become unique in itself, because you know you come with your own preconceived ideas of how things need to be done in a family. Mimi nakuja nafikiria, oh, this is how we need to be teaching the children. And then my husband comes with his own, this is how we need to teach them based on where they are coming from. So that, of course, is a collision, you know. That's a conflict right there. But this conflict now is going to help you people come up with a common ground concerning this matter. So a conflict is good, and it is actually an indication of a working relationship.
Now, a conflict is good, but before this couple or these people who are courting come into this conclusion that conflict at the end of the day is not that bad, I believe there are stages. You know, like what are those stages that somebody goes through when they're in a relationship, such that they can understand, oh, this person doesn't hate me when we have a conflict. Because like for me, I've been married for 7 years. The first days we were having a conflict, I knew the marriage is over. Mimi nimeachwa sasa nianze kujifunza kuachika. And then with the time I was like, oh, so now, right now, he knows me better and I know him better. What are those stages that you may go through, like you are now transitioning to understanding that conflict is not a bad thing?
Okay, that is a whole other topic on stages of marriage. But of course, there is first the romantic stage where you guys are happy, it's all rosy, you're having sex everywhere in the house. And basically the relationship is just about making one another feel good. But that is a stage where you are also in a lot of pretense. You only want to show the other person the better side of me.
How are you?
Nakuongea na Kasauti kanyororo.
Good morning.
Yeah, morning, dear. And the babes are many.
Yeah.
But soon, after starting to be together for a while,
Yeah.
the true self begins to, you become comfortable in the relationship.
Yeah.
So now the true Njoki begins to come out. And
hapa ndo unacheka bila hapa ndo unacheka vibaya hadi anashangaa ule alikuwa anacheka hivi
so your true self begins to come out.
Yeah.
And now your expectations of the other person, you stop being very accommodating.
Yeah.
You stop being very accommodating of their faults. You know, in the beginning you want to pretend it is all okay.
Yeah.
When he throws socks everywhere.
Unaokota. Kwani ujuangi wacha tu nichukue.
But now you begin to start getting irritated over some of these things.
Yeah.
You start feeling like you're being taken for granted. You start feeling like you're not understood.
Yeah.
You start feeling like your needs are not being met. And now the true person begins to come out. And it is actually a very good stage. Although the conflicts, when they are handled badly, it can end to a breakup. That's why we are hearing marriages that are breaking a year into the relationship.
Yeah.
But when it is handled well, then it is a good thing. But let me also say this, Njoki, that depending on where you're coming from, the kind of role modeling you got from the family of origin, it can a small conflict can lead you to where you're thinking, every time a conflict comes, it's a breakup. And this especially happens, and I'm saying this coming from a good place because I'm also a child of a single parent, where somebody or one or both the spouses are coming from broken homes, homes where the families had broken up or gone through divorce. So there is this tendency of thinking every time a conflict occurs, it is the end of a relationship. And that fear can keep people from allowing conflicts or engaging in conflicts. But when you find a relationship that has no conflicts, number one, either there is someone pretending in this relationship.
100%.
Yeah. And so who you pretend eventually is not committed to the relationship. Because I'm only pretending for this period of time.
I'll eventually get tired.
I am going. I am on my way out. Or secondly, there is somebody who does not listen. Because if
so the other spouse has learned to say, at the end of the day, even if I tell her or
he will not solve anything. It will just and that again is a dying relationship. So wherever there is a conflict, then that shows a living. The relationship is alive. Where there are no conflicts, that is a sign of a dying relationship.
Now, when we have a conflict, there are ways to fight fair. Because there are people due to pride, or maybe you do not think you are on the wrong. They will always find a spot to blame the other person, and this is where we get the narcissist. Who, if he's found cheating, he'll say, you are the one who made me cheat, and then now you'll apologize for his mistake. So how do we fight fair such that we know that we are not fighting each other? We are trying to solve a problem here.
One of the things I think that is very, very important, like a counselor will say, awareness, that you are aware that there is a need for this issue to be addressed. You are aware of your feelings and you're not afraid to let them out. That when I'm angry about something, then I will express myself. Because most of the times, most ladies especially, I think because of fear of conflict, what we do is umekasirika, unaulizwa, nini imekasirika? Hakuna. Kwani umekasirika? And you know, when you're doing that,
or they just, when the conversation is going, they say, ni sawa tu, kuna shida, ni sawa, niko poa.
Now that is unfair fighting. Because then you will not help that other person to understand what they did or what they do that makes you not happy. And so the relationship is not growing, because the need of growth in a relationship is to make sure that you people become one wholesomely, not just in bed, but wholesomely, that this person knows
we can connect in all areas.
We can connect in all areas. Thank you. So what that so I said awareness. I'm aware of my feelings, and when they are not met, when my feelings are telling me something is wrong, then I need to express it to the other person.
And I'm allowed to express
it. And I'm allowed, and it is safe.
Yeah.
It is okay for me to express that. Secondly, another thing that fighting fair is about is realizing that this person is not your enemy. That every time an issue happens, it doesn't mean this person is being malicious or they don't like me, because that sometimes may cause an interpretation that huyu mtu amefanya hii kitu kwa sababu hanipendi. No, I love something that I had on a TV program, that the person was saying, one of the things me and my wife agreed is that we are family. And family doesn't go anywhere. So even if we are fighting, we are sticking to this. We are sticking together, and we are not threatening one another that I will go. Realizing that this we are into is a permanent relationship. Kwa hivyo hata tukosane, tupigane, nitaketi hapa tu. There is something you posted on on TV. No, on WhatsApp. On YouTube.
On WhatsApp.
Tutapigana.
Oh, TikTok.
On TikTok.
Tutavurugana. Lakini divorce, forget.
And that's a fair way of fighting. That I'm not expressing this because I'm going anywhere, and I'm not expecting you to go anywhere either. I'm expressing this because it makes me unhappy. It makes me feel that I am not being treated right. It makes me feel that you're not respecting my needs. Another thing of fighting fair, do not hit below the belt.
Saying like you are like your mother.
That's below the belt.
It's because your dad usually beat your mother now.
Involving family, using insults. Ati sasa juu nimekasirika, I can call you names. That is below the belt. I can attack your weakness. That is below the belt. So don't do that, because the most important thing is that when this conflict is over, we are at a better place together. We are fighting, but we are fighting for this relationship, and so we are on the same team. We may have differing views, we may have differing points of views, but we are on the same team. And the conflict is supposed to take us to a place where we settle this in a way that we don't have to fight over it again. So those are just some of the ways of fighting fair, ensuring that you don't carry that thing again to another conflict. Last time you did this
in 1980. You remember?
Labeling. You are a liar. That's a label you're putting on someone, and that's unfair. You are a cheat. You are such a, those labeling titles, that is unfair fighting. Because really that is not what that person is. Otherwise you'd not have been
and
in
actually
a
you're giving the words life.
You are. You are.
Now, somebody was saying that one truth about marriage is that it doesn't mean because today we are fighting about the kid, we will not fight again about the kid. How do we let that sink in our mind that yes, today the conflict between me and my husband is because he did not do this and that. How do I know that if this arises again, I'm not going to tell him that is what you usually do, like you have said about labeling? So I think what we need to understand and appreciate is that we are different. We are different. There's a saying in my mother tongue that says when you put two axes in one basket, they will go hitting on one another. And because we are different, we need to know that on this matter, until it is stuck in the other person's mind that we agreed not to do this thing this way, then we might
find ourselves fighting about it again. And I think every time we address that issue, we can remind one another, but we cannot attack one another. We cannot criticize one another about that thing. So the difference is this.
But also, as you continue, there are those that they will repeat it out of ignorance, or maybe they don't care.
Or as a way of hitting back on you because they know this really irritates you. That's an unfair fight. Yeah, and when we fight unfair, of course, we'll find ourselves in a place where now we are fighting the marriage rather than fighting for the marriage. Because a conflict should be to fight for the marriage. And as I said, see, easy conflicts zinatusaidia. We can be fighting about church today. Hey, no, I'm not going to your church. No, I'm not going to. So that's a conflict. But then eventually we decide, for the sake of this kid, what would we do so that the child has a church where we all go? We don't go to your church. You don't go to ours. Let's find a neutral church where we see any conflict. Has it birthed something beautiful for the family? And that is the purpose of most of the conflicts, and not just in matters. The church is just an example. There are so many other areas. There are issues of sex. There are issues of food. Because when meals, what time is this we are eating? Kwetu tulikuwa tunakulaga saa 3 naye kwao 6 chakula ilikuwa juu ya meza, and then we can come to a compromise because you want me to be preparing the meals for you, and I want to be the one who feeds my family, and I'm working, then allow us at least by 7:30. So we've neither taken your side or my side. We have gotten a neutral ground. But what has birthed that? A conflict. It is a conflict.
Wow. Now, it is something I have done. When there is conflict, we are with our friends. Imagine, Jana, this is what he did. And unfortunately, you might tell the wrong person. Before you take the conflict to a third party, how bad must it be?
First, you see, if we fight and we come to Njoki to be the one who solves our fight for us, we'll still be left the two of us. But of course there is sometimes there is need for mediation. And what leads to us to go to another person is because one person is not listening. You know, one person is not listening, and so we are unable to solve our conflicts on our own. So how bad should it get for us to involve a third party? Maybe when you see that the two of you are unable to agree concerning a matter, and sometimes it can happen, even in a good relationship. It can be a conflict that is so bad that the other person feels disrespected, dishonored. It can be a conflict concerning infidelity that has the potential to completely ruin the marriage. But if there are these other small issues, then I think those are things that we should be looking for ways of handling ourselves. And another thing is just ensuring first that before you open your mouth to talk about that other person, you're remembering they are part of you. You are one. So I cannot I cannot attack my husband without attacking myself.
It's true.
Because we are one. And that should be really thought out. It should really be thought out because sometimes the third person comes to completely destroy.
It's true.
You know, I'm thinking, there are some things about a relationship that you don't want another person to hear.
It's true.
Njoki,
kufa nazo hizo.
Kuna zile tunasemanga mimi na wewe kwa kaburi. Hizi hatuambii mtu, you know. And when you expose them out there, and maybe your spouse finds out about it, or even if you're doing it in front of them, and then it grows in resentment. And what you could have solved, or what you could have talked about and put behind you, then it ends up breaking the relationship. So I think before we engage a third person, ask ourselves who. And one of the things that is traditional but I don't advocate for is going to our parents. No, I was told that sometimes we tell our parents all the bad things about
then we forgive
our
each other,
and then we forgive one another. we are not telling them when we are taking pizza at Pizza Inn together, we only tell them about the bad things. So that leaves the impression on your parent that huyu mtu ni mbaya, my daughter is miserable, she's mistreated. And that is a picture now your parent continues to have of your husband. But when you're in agreement, you didn't tell your mother how you bought new shoes, how you guys were taken out for nyama choma. You don't say the good things, we only say the bad things. And so that creates a rift between our spouses and our parents. So spouses, parents should be left out. Now we have the advantage of having counselors. You can have a best couple for those who wedded in church. If they are responsible, and I think that should take us to a topic on how do you choose a best couple and what is the role of a best couple.
The best couple and the people doing the wedding, it ends on the wedding day, they never talk again.
Or sometimes you're picking your younger sister to be your best maid.
Or ule beshte yako wa manini. Wajakoya.
So you should pick on someone, maybe someone who's respectable, someone whose opinion you would respect, somebody who your husband would also respect. So that when a conflict arises, and someone who has gone ahead of you. So that when a conflict arises, maybe it's something, a hurdle they have already crossed, and so they could have a meaningful advice as to how you guys can go about it. Yeah, but professional counseling would be very, very good.
Now, you have talked about now seeking that help. If the conflict now you can solve the two of you. I want to know, how do you know the person to choose? Because there are other people, you go to, like, let's say you go to the wazes. In most wazes in your generation, they believe ulichapwa juu ulirusha mdomo. Or he only cheated. Mwanaume anatembeanga hapa na pale. And then you end up feeling, even after I went there, I got no help. Others, you'll go maybe in the church setup, they'll tell you to pray for the person. Some things require prayer and action. So how do you know? Because you see, when you don't maybe listen and you quit your marriage, there maybe our wazee will be like, hey, huyu hakuwa anataka ndoa. Or even the man of God who you went to see, they will be like, hey, that girl, I knew she's wayward. That is why she left the marriage.
Who do you pick? And I think I addressed that slightly. A spiritual leader. But you see, even you should be at a point, first of having addressed it yourself, made an attempt. So that when, even the Bible gives instruction, that if there is a conflict between you and your brother, first you approach them yourself. And then secondly, you look for another person. So we are talking about who this other person that you're looking for is. Look for someone who has gone ahead of you. Don't go looking for a single person, a woman who will go and tell you, huyo hata anaonyesha hana haja na wewe. That person is not interested in you. They are showing it. Even me, I'm surviving and I'm bringing, you can bring up your children. So you're looking for somebody who has gone ahead of you in a marriage or in a relationship. And so that person can objectively give you counsel or can mediate between the two of you objectively. You're also looking for a person on neutral ground. If I'm looking for my mother to come and mediate, of course she'll be on my side.
Of course.
If you're looking for your husband's mother, and this is a mistake most girls your age are doing, you have a conflict with your husband, you run to your mother, to their mother. Let me tell you what, I will never choose you over my son. I will never.
Premium tears.
I will never choose you over my son. So when you pick on a parent, then there is the risk of them not being
on your side,
not being neutral.
Neutral.
So look for someone who can be neutral, and that can be a religious leader. Much as kanisa inabashiwa inaambia watu wavumilie na waombe, they are also very good leaders, and some of them are even doing counseling now.
Good,
so they can approach it from both the spiritual and the psychological aspect or perspective. Now you can also look, like I said, for a best man, somebody who
They must be sound.
They must be sound. They
Yeah.
must be sound, but look for someone who's neutral. Somebody who can listen to the issue between the two of you, not take sides,
Yeah.
but help you explore the options that are available on resolving this issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, my last question is, how do we move on from this conflict? Because there are people who, every time you do even a different mistake, they still come back to this one. How do we move on and become now friends past that?
Forgiveness. Forgive and move on.
Forgetting is hard.
Yeah?
Forgetting is hard.
No, you don't forget, but
Yeah.
you remember without bitterness.
Yes.
Yeah? So forgive and move on. Forgive and accept that you're living with another human being who's partly good and partly bad. They're capable of hurting you just the same way you're also capable of hurting them.
Yeah.
And admit that you're also human and move on. And don't repeat the issue
Yes.
if another issue comes. That we are not reminding one another, unakumbuka hata last time ulinifanyia. You know, we don't go that route.
Yeah.
So forgiveness. You cannot live with another person without forgiving them. Bear with one another. That is an instruction in the Word of God. So forgiveness is one of those things that will help you move on from that conflict.
Yeah.
And also learning to be humble, you know, humbling yourself and saying, I am sorry. I am sorry is a magical word.
True.
I don't know whether you know of the magical words.
Yes, sorry, thank you, please.
Yeah, if you want to remember them, they go downwards. P-E-T-S, pets.
Pets. Oh,
so
please
is a magical word. And then excuse me. Thank you. Sorry. Those are magical words.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry is one of those magical words that just melts down conflicts.
Yeah.
That I admit I am wrong. I'm not too proud to admit when I am wrong.
Yeah.
And neither am I too proud to apologize when I am wrong. And on the other hand, I'm not too proud to forgive. Because forgiveness simply says, I understand I'm also human. Today it's me being forgiving. Tomorrow it's me being forgiven.
Wow.
Yeah. And you know, when you realize that when you don't resolve a conflict, it has some certain things that it does, you know.
Yeah.
Number one of what happens when we don't resolve conflicts, it blocks our relationship from God.
Yeah.
You know, you have these hard feelings that even when you want to seek God, you can't.
Yeah.
When you want to connect with God, you can't. I remember in the Word, the Bible says that if you have an unresolved issue
Yes.
with your brother,
Go back first. Put your
offering down,
and
go resolve that
Yeah.
issue, and then after you have resolved, then come and connect with God.
Yeah.
So that keeps you from a good relationship with God. Most people who have had conflicts and not resolved them are the number one problem in the church.
True.
Because they carry those hearts
Presence ya Mungu.
and they also are not able to give to God the right service.
Yeah.
They're not able to give to God the right kind of worship. You know, number two, it stands in the way of your relationship with others.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I hurt you, Njoki, we didn't solve this. So what happens? You go bleeding on everyone else. So it goes destroying relationships. And I know people who have unresolved conflicts with other people. Recently, sorry to interrupt the flow, but I realized that over 30 years ago, that there's somebody we had parted ways with a conflict that was very major, and we had not resolved it. And why I discovered that I had to go back there is because there are patterns in my life that I realized, why do I always find myself here? And I looked for that person. They are in a far away land.
Far away.
But I looked for them and I apologized.
Wow, that is so...
I apologized. It was amazing that over 30 years ago, the person could remember details, some which I had even forgotten, of how I had hurt them. And that led me to understand that, in fact, I love something that he said. He said that you don't know how those things have affected me through the years. That was an unresolved conflict. So that person could have been having relationships, they're hurting other people, they can't trust other people because of something that happened in a different relationship. And so when I find myself in a conflict, even in a marriage situation with my husband, if I don't resolve it, the danger is I'll start looking at every man with suspicion, every man with disgust, every man with distrust, every man with fear. And that has been something that has affected many marriage relationships because people are coming into the relationship with unresolved conflicts by other people that they were in a relationship with. So when we said, number one, it affects our relationship with God. Number two, it affects our relationship with other people. And finally, it also affects your relationship with yourself. It kills your self-confidence. If this person treated me this way, then maybe I'm not good enough. If this person dumped me, if this person insulted me, if this person raped me, then I am not worthy, you know? So it affects how you even view yourself, the conversations you have about yourself. So the best thing about a conflict, when it occurs, resolve it. Humble yourself, nyenyekea tu, because it is for your good, it is for the good of the other person.
Wow. Thank you so much. We have learned how to handle conflict, and that conflict at the end of the day is not a bad thing. It makes you see the best part of yourself, and it makes you create your own culture in the relationship. But there is something before I go. Women mostly hold sex when in conflict with their husbands. And at some point, I don't fault them. It happens to, maybe the spouse is not listening. And because this is a vulnerable moment, they use it. So I remember in one of your classes, you were telling us sex is for you. So even when you are angry, you should do it. But as it's like emotions connect with that thing, what do we do?
I don't get your question.
My question is, how do I not hold sex even if I am in conflict? Because there are also spouses who use sex like they are resolving. After having like sex now, we can't talk about, see, we were good.
You reminded me that, and it's something I really like telling the ladies. But to say this, sometimes sex can be withheld if it is a reason in the conflict. You know, Njoki, the danger there is right now, and allow me to say this. I know we are talking about something different, but allow me to say this: that research has proven that the rate of HIV infections in this country right now, the government in a few years may be unable to provide ARV medication for people with HIV.
In teenagers also.
And those are the same teenagers that some of our spouses are going to as sponsors. The wababas, you know. So what if the relationship issues have something to do with this person is having unprotected sex? So you are endangering me. We have tried to solve this issue, but you don't seem to be going anywhere with this. So that can be used. But if we are talking about money you didn't give me for salon, seriously, what has that to do? Are you selling? Are you selling?
Put the money.
You know, it is reducing. It is reducing the relationship. The
transaction.
Sasa wewe na ule mkoko inange WhatsApp group. So I think if it is not related with the sexual issue, sometimes it can be because you insulted my sexuality. And women can be those ones who hit below the belt. You're telling somebody, hata kwa kitanda you're doing nothing to me, and then tomorrow
kamoja tu unalala hapo.
That is the source of a conflict. So if tomorrow you want to have sex with this man and he tells you, sitaki, you don't want to sleep with me, that is a conflict. But why am I refusing? because you're insulting me using that same. So we need to, you need to tell me, is it that you said you are,
did you mean it?
Did you mean it? Or were you just fighting unfair? Yeah, did you mean it, or were you just fighting unfair? Okay. So if sex is not the source of the conflict, then it is not right. It is an unfair fight.
Okay.
So you're asking, sasa na mimi nimekasirika, bado nikupe.
Na unakataa kuongea.
Taionea view sasa. Some of these things are not related. Conflict ilikuwa juu ya nini?
Sasa kuweka, kutengeneza skuma.
Sasa skuma. And you know, one of the ways of training our husbands, that sex is not going to be how we solve issues, is remembering what you just said. This is for me also. Sex is not for, because when you use it as a weapon, is because you're thinking you are benefiting the other person only. You know, even in the laws of Kenya, I was very amused to find that before they were saying that a woman should be divided half the amount or the wealth of the family during a divorce because of providing conjugal rights. But that was ruled out because conjugal rights are two-way.
Two people who have agreed.
You are also benefiting.
To enjoy life.
Yeah, you are also benefiting. So we can't say that you are benefiting me by giving me this. You are also enjoying it. So what I'm saying here is this, that sex should be left out of conflicts.
If it is not related to infidelity.
I'm not talking to you. I am angry because you didn't do this thing.
But my body needs you.
You want us to get down? Sawa sawa, let's do this. And then I psych myself and make sure I enjoy myself to the fullest. And then after that,
you go back to factory setting.
we have not solved this. And that will train the men that sex is not a way of solving problems.
It's true.
You want sex, it is my duty, but it is also my responsibility to enjoy this. So I'm going to enjoy it, I'm going to fulfill that duty, and then we go back to the conflict. So you're asking, I thought this thing is over. Where did it end? We did not talk about it. So that person will know that sex is not the way we are going to be solving. I can have sex with her all I want, but the issue will remain until it has been, the conflict will remain until it has been resolved the right way. So that is one of the ways. Leave the sexual activity out of it. One lady talking to us told us that when you use sex as a weapon, that's a Jezebel spirit, manipulation. So I'll be using sex to manipulate you so that I can have things my own way. That is an unfair fight.
Wow. So you have had, we need to work on ourselves, you know. We need to know that conflict at the end of the day, don't connect it with things that are not connected. Skuma na sex. But also remember, the law is saying that those who are cheating can be jailed for 5 years.
Wow.
Tutaanza kuchukua video ku evidence. This is Shine with Njoki Kamanja. Kathy, remember you're the light and you can shine.
Shine with Njoki Kamanja Kathy.